Okay. So I gotta ask you something.
Okay.
Is we got part 3 on Sunday for the NFC Championship. Rams Seahawks. The first two were absolute classics. Um, do you think this is
Oh,
the
this thing has a timer on it. Hold on 1 second, Josh. I'll fix that.
okay? But in
Good.
the meantime,
Go
do
ahead.
you do you remember when we were talking about the national championship back in 2023, we were saying, yeah, Georgia TCU, it says that's the national championship. Excuse me. But fans and media were saying, no, that Georgia Ohio State game was the real national championship. You remember that conversation?
Yes.
So I'm kind of twisting that here. Do you feel like Rams Seahawks is the real Super Bowl?
Okay. So now we're gonna get into this Rams Seahawks game. Here's my answer to that. Depends on who wins this game. It depends on who wins the AFC game. Because if Denver makes it out, Lord help us that we would have to watch Jared Stidham in a Super Bowl. Um, then yes, the winner of Rams Seahawks will win the Super Bowl. If New England makes it and Seattle wins the game, I think New England has a shot to beat Seattle. I do not think they would have a shot to beat Matthew Stafford and the Rams.
Okay. Because, like, go back to the 2006 AFC Championship, where you had Patriots Colts. The winner was going to play the Chicago Bears in Super Bowl 41. But you're like, well, whoever wins this game is going to end up winning the Super Bowl. Because you just felt like that about the Patriots and Colts, rightfully so, because it was Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. There's another connection. But you just felt like those two teams were above the rest. It feels, I know it's Sam Darnold and Matthew Stafford. I'm not comparing either of them to Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Make please don't take it that way.
No, I
Okay?
understand what you're saying. These two teams have been the two best teams in football all season long, and it does feel like that. I get it. I think New England does match up a little bit with Seattle personnel wise, and I think that they would have the quarterback advantage in that game, which is why I give New England a chance. I'm gonna say this right now. I A lot of people are disagreeing with me. A lot of people like Seattle in this spot. I actually love the Rams. I think the Rams are better than Seattle. I actually think they proved they're better than Seattle in that game Thursday night, week 16. They were up 16 with 8 minutes to go. And if Raheem Shaheed does not bring that punt return back and create all sorts of hell, which includes the backwards 2 point conversion play, the Rams win the game. And I know a lot of people have said, oh, well, the Rams have barely beat the Panthers and they barely beat the Bears. I've never seen a team like the Rams, who are a warm weather dome team, go to a frigid place like Chicago, Illinois last Sunday night and have zero dropped passes and zero fumbles lost, or, obviously there was the one play Devontae Adams fumble, but he was down, and zero penalties. That is coaching. And I don't care what you guys say about Sam Darnold. I still don't trust him in this spot. I If Sam Darnold goes out and throws for 400 yards and he throws all over this Rams defense and proves me wrong, I'll come on here next Tuesday and say, Mr. Josh Ungar, I was wrong about Sam Darnold. Thank you very much. I think this game is going to be close. I think there's going to be points scored. I think Darnold's going to play well. But if you're telling me between who has the ball last, who do I trust? I think Matthew Stafford engineers another game winning drive. I think the Rams win the game. I think they know they can go into Seattle and win. And I think they're starting to feel it the way they felt it when they went to Tampa Bay in the divisional round the year they won the Super Bowl, put off that incredible comeback after Tom Brady led the Buccaneers down the field, and the Rams had led almost the entire game. The Rams went on to win the Super Bowl. I do feel like history may be repeating itself.
You know, like, as much as I strongly dislike the LA Rams because of their owner, Stan Kroenke, screwing over the city of St. Louis, I that's something I will never like loosen my grudge on. But I will tell you this: I love Matt Stafford. Puka has quickly become one of my favorite wide receivers. You know how I feel about Aaron Donald when he was there. Sean McVay has completely proven me wrong. I was like, okay, you're a good head coach. You kind of looked your way into winning a Super Bowl. No, he has completely turned my
I'll agree with that.
opinion about him around. If he is able to engineer the Rams to a second Super Bowl championship in 5 years, you know what? I will give Sean McVay his full credit. Think about this though. You brought up Sam Darnold. He could he could be the first quarterback from that 2018 quarterback draft class that we all said was going to be amazing. You know, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar, Darnold. We thought Josh Rosen was going to be something at the time.
Well, don't say we, because I didn't. I thought he was going to be a massive bust from the start. Don't include me in that.
I was just saying we as a general statement. I'm not
Okay.
specifically. I'm not specifically including you, but anyway, Sam Darnold could be the first quarterback from that group to reach a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it feels wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you know, for him to go from what you remember that Monday night game against the Patriots where he's like, I was seeing ghosts, to be in this position.
Well,
Think
and
about the narrative and how that would change for him.
this is why I know you guys all want to give credit to JSN being the number one receiver and Mike McDonald's is a great head coach. Look what he's done with his defense. And Sam Darnold's playing so well. And Raheem G's been a great addition. You know what?
Rashid Shaheed.
You know what the best addition of the entire Seahawks whole offseason was? Quinn Kubiak as offensive coordinator. That's what changed the most about this team. It wasn't Darnold because Geno Smith and Darnold are very similar quarterbacks. They completely changed the scheme. And Quinn Kubiak, in my mind, should be getting more head coaching opportunities because he, along with Kevin O'Connell and Kyle Shanahan, all run that similar system, which clearly at this point Sam Darnold is very comfortable with. And I did not understand why he would want to go to Seattle, but I underestimated the Quinn Kubiak impact. And that to me is the biggest reason why Seattle was playing this Sunday.
What type of impact do you think Zach Charbonnet not being there is going to have on this game for Seattle?
I think it's going to be a moderate impact. I don't think it's something little, but I don't think it's big for the fact they can't win the game without him. But they're going to have to rely on Kenneth Walker more, and Walker's going to have to be able to hit holes more consistently than he has.
The other storyline that I haven't heard a lot of people talking about is the fact that you have Cooper Kupp, who won a Super Bowl with the LA Rams, had that amazing season, and guess what? They said no. The Rams moved on from him, and now he's playing great in Seattle.
Well, I wouldn't say great. He's at a down year. He's at his moments, but he's not the same receiver he was with the Rams. Why they moved off him, and I would argue rightfully so because Davante Adams has been more impactful than Cooper Kupp was the last few seasons. Plus, I would argue this too, Josh. It wasn't necessarily Cooper Kupp. It was the Cooper Kupp Puka Nacua scheme fit. They both are similar players, slot receivers, blockers. They're not the down the field threat that is Davante Adams, which is what made the Rams so deadly. Is now you have a receiver that you can play at the edge position in Davante Adams, and you can lead Puka more in that slot position, which is what they've done.
Well, I'm not saying the Rams made the wrong decision necessarily by moving on from Cooper Kupp. By the way, Ernest Jones has made a huge difference for Seattle defensively, and he's a former Ram.
Yep.
So you have all of these connections. But just to finish my Cooper Kupp point, sure, he hasn't been great statistically for Seattle this season. I agree with you. But I think he's had a big influence on JSN just in terms of the receiver JSN has become this season. I think you have to give Cooper Kupp credit for why we're talking about JSN as, a great wide receiver. The Seahawks number one.
Well, again, the funny thing is, right, he only had 2 catches last week because they didn't really need him because that game was over by the opening kickoff.
No, yeah. And when I'm talking about Cooper Kupp's impact, I'm talking about off the field stuff.
No, I know, but I was talking more about JSN. They didn't really need him last week. Now it's
No,
going to be a different game.
no, I agree. And also Rashid Shaheed. I told you that was one of the biggest moves of the trade deadline. And it has panned out that way. I don't think Seattle would have won that Week 16 game against the Rams,
which is my point, that the Rams are just better. I mean, I believe that in my heart. The Rams are better than Seattle.
Which, did Seattle kind of luck their way into that Week 16 win to a certain extent? Yes.
I'm not saying that it's going to be a blowout like this, but it reminds me of last year's NFC Championship game where the Commanders walked into that win Week 16 against the Eagles at home, and then my team went out and obliterated them in the NFC Championship game.
No, I understand that, but these first 2 games, they've been so evenly matched, and it's come down to like 1 or 2 plays.
Well, the first game, the Rams dominated them, and they didn't have to do anything on offense, and then Seattle had a big fourth quarter.
I just feel like these 2 teams have clearly separated themselves as from the rest of the pack. Again, that's why I put up this question, because to circle back to my original point, we were all like, okay, Georgia's playing TCU in the national championship, whatever. Most fans and media members alike were saying, no, that Georgia-Ohio State game was the actual national championship.
Okay, so I have Patriots-Rams in the Super Bowl. What is your Super Bowl matchup?
I have Patriots-Seahawks. And that leads me to this next one, which it may have a timer on it. Hopefully it doesn't. But how would you feel about Super Bowl 60 being a rematch? Because Patriots-Rams, that would be the 3rd time we've seen it, with the Patriots winning the first 2. If we get Seahawks-Patriots, that would be part 2. Of course, we know how the first one ended. And if we get Seahawks-Broncos, that would also be a rematch. The only way we can get a fresh matchup that we have not seen is if it is Broncos-Rams.
Okay, I'm going to answer this way. The best Super Bowl matchup out of all 4 possibilities is clearly far and away, in my opinion, Patriots-Rams. The 2 Super Bowl MVP, or the 2 MVP candidates, the quarterback Drake May and Matthew Stafford. New England, I hate to say it, Denver, I'm sorry, no disrespect. New England is clearly the best team left in the AFC, even if Denver does win. Somewhere you felt that Buffalo was better than Denver, but Denver won. I feel like New England's better than Denver. Denver may win. If it is Denver, Seattle, my hype level for the Super Bowl will be at about a -5. I do not want to watch Sam Darnold versus Jarrett Stidham. I just don't. Okay? I don't care how many people love Sam Darnold. I still don't think Sam Darnold's elite. I will never think Sam Darnold's elite. I will always think.
By the way, I've never said once Sam Darnold is elite.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying people that are going to put Sam Darnold in as this great quarterback that turned his career around. No, he's done good. He's played well. He's not special. He's not in the tier of Allen. He's not in the tier of Lamar. He's not in the tier of Herbert. He's not in the tier of Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Mahomes, etc. I don't even think he's in Drake May or Matthew Stafford's class. So you know how I feel about football. I think ultimately football is a quarterback's game, and I really don't want to watch Seattle and Denver. Out of all of the rematches, to be honest with you, I really don't care for any of them because I thought this was supposed to be the year where it's a different year, right? It's a defensive year in the NFL. We have different teams that we didn't expect, like the Broncos and the Patriots being in it. but we had the Texans, we had the Jags, we had the Bears, we had the Bills trying to get there. Like, I wanted a fresh after we dealt with the Chiefs for 5 out of 6 years. And, we've had Chiefs Eagles or Chiefs Niners 4 years in a row, basically. I wanted something fresh. And a Super Bowl rematch, especially one that I've seen, even if it's different teams 7, 8 years ago, still doesn't feel fresh to me. So I don't know. At this point, I'm like, who cares? I'll watch the Super Bowl, but none of them really, really excite me.
Okay. Um, well, if we do get Seahawks-Broncos, that would be a rematch 13 years in the making. So it's not like we just saw it.
But it does feel like it because I remember that game vividly because of how much of a blowout it was.
No, I understand. And if we do get Patriots-Rams, that's actually the game I want the least because it was so boring last time. 13-3. You just kept sitting there waiting for something to happen.
That's how I feel about Broncos Seahawks.
And rightfully so. By the way, you were mentioning how like you wouldn't put Sam Darnold in a tier with Matt Stafford or Drake May. You wouldn't put Sam Darnold in a tier with Joe Burrow or Lamar or Patrick Mahomes. If Bo Nix had been able to stay healthy and he went on to win a Super Bowl, I wouldn't have put Bo Nix in a tier with Josh Allen, Lamar, and Joe Burrow yet. I would have put him on the same tier as like a Matt Stafford.
I mean, it's fair. The way I look at it is weirdly and oddly, after we all hated the Patriots dynasty, most of America outside of Colorado was rooting for them this weekend.
Yes. By the way, I think I read this stat. Did you know this is the 15th straight year where the AFC Championship is going to include either the Patriots or the Chiefs?
I mean, that makes sense. Brady and Mahomes. That's why I keep saying it's a quarterback-driven league.
Yeah, and we were all like, oh, thank God, the Chiefs dynasty is over. And the Patriots are like, well, where did that bring you?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, the last one I think that didn't include either of those would have been 2010, the Mark Sanchez Jets against Ben Roethlisberger Steelers.
I think you're right. And the only one prior to that I can think of is
The
2000.
previous year, 2009, was Sanchez against Peyton Manning.
Yeah, and 2008, Flacco against Roethlisberger.
The AFC has, I believe, included one of Brady, Mahomes, Roethlisberger, or Manning every year, except for this year, since 2001.
Yeah, like it's the AFC. It feels like the NFC has been way more wide open, honestly.
Well, now I think it's starting to become, because of all the young quarterbacks that have entered the NFC, I think the NFC at the top has become the better conference.
Oh, I would agree with you. So, but in terms of the rematches, I guess the most interesting one would be Patriots-Rams to see if the Rams can finally get on the board. And like you said, it's the two MVP candidates. I think Matt Stafford would have more on the line in that matchup.
Oh, 100%.
Yes, because, most people have Matt Stafford as the front runner for the MVP. If he goes on to win it, I'm not going to argue and say, no, that's the wrong decision. Drake May should have won it. No. Personally, if I had a vote, I would vote for Drake May, but that's nothing against Matt Stafford.
Well, here's the problem about the Patriots. If they don't win the Super Bowl, you know what people are going to say? They have the easiest path to a Super Bowl in the history of the NFL.
Yeah. I agree. I feel like if the Patriots win a Super Bowl, they're going to compare it to what the Boston Celtics had to do in 2024? When they
they won. But no, when you win a Super Bowl, nobody takes anything away from you. When you don't win a Super Bowl, that's when people start questioning your resume.
Okay, but I'm saying on the Celtics' way to winning a championship, they were like, okay, but did you really play anyone? Like,
Yeah, but nobody says that about the Super Bowl because you have to be a good team to make the Super Bowl. We've seen not great seeds in the NBA make the finals before. We've seen the '04 Pistons. Nobody gave them a shot against the Lakers, and they won the title.
yeah,
The Super Bowl, generally, you need to be a good team to make it there.
yeah, but it's like we've seen matchups in the Super Bowl where you're like, how did that team reach the Super Bowl? Like the two good examples. Granted, they're the same team, but still, the '07 Giants and the 2011 Giants. I don't recall anybody saying, "Oh, the Giants can make a Super Bowl run."
But guess what? They won both those games, and nobody takes it away from them. If they didn't, then they would talk about those runs. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to the Patriots.
I'm not trying to discredit what the Giants did by making it by making
Well,
those
you
runs.
just kind of did.
Okay, fair. Do you understand the premise of what I'm trying to get at? That
The premise of what I'm telling you is they have to win the Super Bowl.
yes, and the Patriots, there's always going to be some type of controversy surrounding them. Although I haven't heard any type of cheating scandal with them.
Well, gee, I don't know. It sounds like Stephon Diggs and Christian Barmore should be in jail to me.
Okay, but I'm talking about like when we had Spygate going on or Deflategate.
Well, no, because Mike Vrabel's smarter than Bill Belichick.
Fair.